Floodwaters are inundating parts of southern Ukraine, and rescue and relief efforts are underway as the waters keep rising. Yesterday's dam collapse has unleashed humanitarian and ecological disasters in a nation already suffering from 16 months of war. Evacuations continuing today after the Ukraine dam disaster, as the scope of devastation comes into full view. Drone footage showed rooftops barely holding above rising water lines. Some swept away entirely by the Dnipro River, as floodwaters engulfed village after village in southern Ukraine.
It's our home where we live, or it was. Maybe it will be again when it dries out.
Flood victims in Kherson sifted through their belongings, desperate to save pets from drowning and to salvage soiled items. Earlier today, Ukrainian authorities said the river was still swelling, and water levels could remain at peak heights for as long as 10 days. Evacuation efforts were swift. Residents joined Ukrainian police as they navigated the streets on inflatable boats and makeshift rafts, even as the sounds of nearby shelling persisted.
I've been coming here for a whole year. I want to do something useful for our country, for our people.
So far, about 3,000 people have fled their homes, but over 60,000 people reside in the flood-impacted areas. The exact cause of yesterday's breach is still undetermined. Both Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of deliberate attacks, while others say Russian attacks on the dam last year could have caused cracks that led to its collapse over time. Security footage from November showed a fiery blast tearing through a section of the dam's walls. This satellite image from June 1st shows the dam intact. On June 2nd, clear damage to a section of road. And by yesterday, June 6th, the dam was completely destroyed, with water bursting through. As the Kakhovka reservoir empties downstream, the humanitarian implications are immense. Ukrainian officials warn that floating mines unearthed by the deluge pose a threat to civilians across the region. And as a critical source of drinking water is cut off, experts fear the spread of diseases and hazardous chemicals.
Dozens of towns and villages will struggle with the issue of potable water supply. The destruction of the Kakhovka hydroelectric power station is a crime against humanity and an ecocide.
All this on top of a relentless war. For an update on the ongoing rescue and relief efforts, we turn to Ewan Watson. He's the head of communications for the International Committee of the Red Cross. He joins us now from Geneva. Thank you for being with us. How is the ICRC, the Red Cross, assisting with the ongoing rescue and relief efforts across southern Ukraine? What are you hearing from your partners on the ground?
Well, our partners, the Ukrainian Red Cross, are doing incredible work right now. So on day one, they already managed to evacuate 800 people, including approximately 60 people with low or absolutely no mobility at all. You've got to remember that in this flood-stricken area, this was already an area that was devastated by fighting. So many people had fled, and many of the people that remained are people that were sick, who were old, who couldn't really go anywhere. So they were desperately vulnerable already before this dam was destroyed, and here we are with yet another tragedy on our hands. So what we've been focusing on through our partners, the Ukrainian Red Cross, is really to move people to a degree of safety. Of course, people are alarmed, shocked by the rapidity of the rising water. It's obviously extremely dangerous with landmines floating around, with the possibility of those exploding at any time. It's dire, and we're extremely concerned.
Meantime, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said today that he was shocked at what he said was the failure of the Red Cross and the United Nations to provide help after the dam collapse. He said of your organization, quote, "They aren't here." How do you respond to that?
Well, I think the frustration is understandable, and we can recognize that. When you see the humanitarian needs in front of you, then it's only understandable. What I would say is that our partners are working incredibly hard on the ground, and we support them in many, many different ways through technical support and other, to make sure that they are best placed to do that evacuation work and make sure that people have some drinking water and some basic necessities. Where our role is going to become stronger with time is in terms of tackling the longer term needs of this, because of course what you've got is an area now that typically was used for agriculture, and now that land is no longer available for agriculture between the flooding and the landmines, and therefore what are people going to do in terms of making a livelihood? That's a desperate concern. The other one is just the availability in the longer term of drinking water. These are two massive concerns, yes, for today, but also for the longer term. And that's where we expect to work very closely with our partner on the ground, helping the communities.
When President Zelensky says, "We've had no response, I am shocked they aren't here," to what then do you think he's referring?
I mean, I don't want to comment further on what the president is saying here. I think from the humanitarian perspective, we have sought to respond across Ukraine since the intensity of this conflict broke in February last year. I think what's important here is that, firstly, we really echo what is an important point of law here, which is that a dam, just like a nuclear facility, must be protected. It should not be attacked during warfare. That's against the law. And the problem when there is an attack like this is that it unleashes these dangerous forces, water that moves landmines in different directions, that then triggers all sorts of additional dangers to a population already in grave danger. So we've been working since day one of this international armed conflict to respond to the different needs across the country, and we will continue to do so.
To your point, this is the most significant damage to civilian infrastructure since the start of this war. It has far-reaching and grave consequences. How does this compound what people across southern Ukraine are already experiencing with this brutal war?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you take a city like Kherson, which of course has been and remains at the epicenter of this conflict, that's a city that has been taken and retaken, has been really at the center of a front line that has seen vicious fighting, where people have had to flee, possibly felt safe enough to come back. And now again, wondering where the next foothold of safety lies. So that you can just see that happening in all sorts of different communities in this region. And if you look further east, of course, there's been conflict raging there since 2014. So for many communities in these areas, fighting is nothing new. They've had to live in the middle of it. They've had to live in the middle of shifting front lines, working out how to find daily bread each day. It's a devastating situation, and it's not getting better. It's not getting better. It's getting worse.
Ewan Watson, Head of Communications with the International Committee of the Red Cross. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.